What is going on, Pats Nation? You guys already know who it is. Patriots Global here, back with another video. And in this one, guys, you already know that we're doing another training camp recap. This is going to be for day 3 of Patriots training camp. This is going to be for July 29th. So let's start off with general notes, as we always do, guys, that we're not participating. Again, this list for the most part is the same, but there is something a little bit different. Starting off, Brian Hoyer. Now, Brian Hoyer didn't participate yesterday in 7-on-7s or 11-on-11s, so those were given more to the rookie Bailey Zappi. A very strange move that left us with a lot of questions, and now today he is not participating. Is it an injury? What's going on? That's going to be something to watch for sure. But James White, Andrew Stuber, Chasen Hines, Dietrich Wise, Jonathan Jones, Miles Bryan, and Jabril Peppers are the other ones that were absent. So guys that returned to David Andrews, the starting center, and Jake Bailey, the puncher. This is big news for the Patriots. Patriots, again, shorts and shells today. Pads will be coming on Monday. Still no contact. Again, when those pads do come on is when you can expect a little bit more contact to occur. Now, play calling today was a little bit different. During 11-on-11s, Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi reported to Bill Belichick after their reps, who for this instance had the offensive play sheet in his hands, versus the first 2 days of training camp where that guy was Matt Patricia. Speaking of Matt Patricia, though, earlier on in practice for 7-on-7s, Matt Patricia was the one dealing with the first team offense, while Joe Judge was dealing with the second team offense. Cornerbacks in general were once again wearing those big pads on their hands like they were yesterday during team drills. As I told you before, for those of you who don't really know what that is, and the cornerbacks, for instance, weren't the only ones wearing them. It was the offensive line also doing that. And it's essentially so you are not holding. You can't hold because you can't grab onto anything. You're really forced to use your technique. Now, as we all know, day 1, the offense won. Day 2, the defense won. And today, the offense won the earlier parts in practice, with the defense doing better work later on. So I guess you could say overall today was a tie between the two. Moving on to each position here. As for the quarterbacks, 11-on-11s, Mac Jones was 6 for 11, throwing his first interception of camp, while Bailey Zappi was 5 for 7 with an interception. 7-on-7s, Mac Jones was 7 for 8, while Bailey Zappi was 1 for 2 with another interception. Bailey Zappi did make a really nice play, though, best play so far this offseason, as he made a nice fading throw in between a couple of defenders to tight end Hunter Henry. Overall, Bailey Zappi's play continues to just be very inconsistent. You can hear it with the numbers. He's made some good throws. Again, that was definitely his best one. It was a really impressive throw. But unfortunately, that does get outweighed by throwing 2 interceptions. Overall, there's definitely more bad we're hearing about Bailey Zappi than good. But overall, Mac Jones is your starting quarterback. It really doesn't matter how Bailey Zappi, or how fast rather, he is developing. Moving on to running backs here. Pierre Strong is still somewhat limited, although he isn't on the limited list. But today was probably the most involved that we've seen him, at least through 3 days of training camp. He started with conditioning work on the side, but later joined the team for walkthroughs. Now, as for these rookie running backs, Kevin Harris got a decent amount of looks as a pass-catching back today. Moving on to wide receivers here, Kendrick Bourne hauled in yet again another touchdown from Mac Jones here in 7-on-7s. Ty Montgomery is continuing to look pretty good. Not great, but he's making some pretty decent plays out there. He's turning some heads. But he made a really nice contested grab for about 20 yards, a touchdown catch actually, over cornerback Shaun Wade on a throw from rookie quarterback Bailey Zappi. Now, it may have gotten ripped out at the end. We're not 100% sure, but nonetheless, really nice grab by Ty Montgomery. Now, Trey Nixon's name is finally in the report here. Now, obviously, this is a guy that we were all expecting big things from heading into training camp after being the standout player overall during Patriots minicamp a few weeks ago. But he made his first big play today, a really impressive touchdown snag where he out-jumped, again, cornerback Shaun Wade. Moving on to the tight ends here, Hunter Henry did have a little bit of a scare today. He collided with Christian Wilkerson in the red zone on a play during 7-on-7s. Both of them appeared to be okay. Now, Hunter Henry was a little bit slow to get up, but overall, he's fine. He continued to practice. There was no reports about it, so maybe he got shaken up a little bit. Maybe he was just taking a second, but overall, nothing I would put much stock into. Obviously, unless he's absent tomorrow, which I don't see happening. But Jonnu Smith had the play of the day. Jonnu just continues to stand out. This is easily one of my top guys, if not the top guy for standouts through 3 days of camp so far. But again, made the play of the day. He leaped up, did a complete 180, high pointing the ball for a 20-yard touchdown over Kyle Duggar. Guys, I have a picture, or not a picture, but I have a video of this play in my shorts section on this channel if you guys do want to check that out. Also have that video of Mac Jones to Devontae Parker in the end zone for a touchdown too if you guys want to go ahead and check out those highlights from camp. Again, both are on my channel. Now, that ball was thrown by Mac Jones. The crowd loved it. And actually, Jonnu Smith beat Kyle Duggar for a second time just a few plays later, scoring his second touchdown of practice just for that day. Overall, there was just a lot of targets for these tight ends today, continuing to prove the point that the two tight end set is expected to be heavily continued and heavily involved for the Patriots in 2022 after a disappointing overall look of packages for these two tight end sets in 2021. As for the offensive line, first team O-line from left to right is Trent Brown, Cole Strange, David Andrews, Michael Onwenu, and Isaiah Wynn. Nothing really surprising here. Now, the only surprising part about the offensive line is that there was a point through walkthroughs that Isaiah Wynn did take a couple of reps at left tackle. Now, I do think that Isaiah Wynn will be playing right tackle for the Patriots. Trent Brown's going to play left tackle for the Patriots. But let's say that Trent Brown does go down. I could see the Patriots wanting to have Isaiah Wynn plugged back into left tackle and have somebody take over for right tackle. So they don't want Isaiah Wynn to get completely uncomfortable at the left tackle position. So from time to time, I do think we'll still see him get some reps there. Moving on to the defense here, sacks, Matthew Judon would have had one, while Devon Godchat would have had a pass breakup. As for the linebackers, Mack Wilson would have had what was described as a really big hit on rookie running back Kevin Harris if legitimate contact were allowed. Interceptions here, Jalen Mills had one, Justin Bethel also had one. Jalen Mills also had another pass breakup today, along with Sean Wade also having a pass breakup. Now, that Jalen Mills interception actually would have been a pick six. It was a miscommunication between Mac Jones and Jacoby Myers. Mac Jones throws the ball in one direction. Jacoby Myers goes in the absolute other direction. We're not sure whose fault it was, but Mac Jones afterwards threw his hands up, was not very happy about it. And to put this into perspective, Jalen Mills caught that ball with mitts on. So it's not like he was able to catch the ball in between two hands because, again, he has two big padded mitts on his hands. Same thing goes for Justin Bethel, who picked off the rookie Bailey Zappi. Now, overall, quarterbacks have not been targeting Terrence Mitchell at all so far through camp. It seems like he's been doing really well. He's been a guy that he's been silent. He's been really silent. He's been rolling with the starters. He's been the opposite corner, other side of Jalen Mills. And a lot of times, if you don't hear about a player, people expect that they're not performing well. But cornerback's one of those positions where, honestly, not being talked about is probably a good thing. You might not be making a bunch of big plays, but as long as you're shutting your guy down, that's all you can really ask for, and so far, Terrence Mitchell has done exactly that. Now, rookie cornerback Marcus Jones has been mixed in with the starters today, especially in the slot, was looking really, really good there. Jack Jones also did get a little bit of run here with the starters too in 11 on 11s. Sean Wade overall had a pretty active day for the Patriots, especially with Jonathan Jones still not at practice. Moving on to the safeties here, interceptions, Adrian Phillips would have had one. Devin McCourty appeared to pretty much just get a rest day today. He wasn't really out there for most of his reps. With that being said, the guy who took over for Devin McCourty's reps was second-year safety Joshua Bledsoe. Bledsoe's been standing out a lot throughout the 3 days of minicamp, and today he mixed in a lot with the starters, and he saw a lot of reps, not just at safety, but also saw reps in the slot. Now, as for Kyle Duggar, he got beat a lot today. You heard me talk about it earlier. Jonnu Smith beat him twice, both of which in the end zone resulted in touchdowns. It isn't that Kyle Duggar is having poor coverage, because the coverage is good. It's just they're having really nice throws against him, and he's a guy that plays physically, and when you're not really allowed to have any physical contact yet due to not having pads on, he can't exactly play to his full strength, but overall, today was just getting beat a lot. As for special teams here, the punt returners for today were Trey Nixon, Marcus Jones, and Kyle Duggar. Marcus Jones did have a dropped punt, did have to run a lap because of it. Tyquan Thornton did get reps as a gunner today, and we are really seeing that speed from Tyquan Thornton throughout 3 days of training camp here. That elite speed is really showcasing itself. Now, players such as Ty Montgomery, Devin Asiasi, and Anthony Jennings, along with Joshua Bledsoe, we're seeing a lot of reps as the top punting team. But that is going to be it for day 3 of Patriots training camp. Guys, we will have one more practice before the guys have a day off. And then Monday, hitting back up with training camp where pads will be on. I will be coming out with a video of my winners and losers for Patriots' first week of training camp. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Make sure you guys leave a big like on this video. Really helps me out and the channel. And of course, subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news if you have not already, along with commenting down in the comment section below what your notes from day 3 of training camp are. But without further ado, like always, don't you guys forget, go Pats.